Hello, I'm Mrs. Parker. I'm a counselor from Woodson High School. Welcome to the class of 2025. I'm sorry I'm not able to be with you in person this year, but hopefully this presentation will give you the information that you need to help prepare for transitioning to Woodson. Within the school counseling department, we have a number of people that are there to assist with what students need. A lot of the things that I do to work with students is academic advising, which we're doing right now, and I'm currently about to be in the process to meet with each of my students individually to talk about their 4-year plan and to see what courses they want to take for the next year. We also do a lot of college and career counseling, try to match up what their interests are and brainstorm and do some searches to look at options to best prepare for life after high school. Students can also come to me with any type of social emotional concern. They'll have a clinician as well, either a school psychologist or a social worker. And I'm also a part of that team where we all collaborate and to make sure that we can support whatever's needed. Outside of the CSS program, students are assigned to counselors by the alphabet with their last name. In registering courses for next year, students will have a total of 7 courses. And please know that everyone's plan is very different. It's one of the things I love about my job is that there's a lot of different options, and just know that we'll work to figure out the plan that's best for you. But typically, students are going to take an English, math, science, social studies, PE, possibly a world language or another elective, and another elective. At Woodson, we are on a block schedule. All classes are 85 minutes in length. Our passing periods, I believe, are typically, I want to say 8 minutes. With this year being so different, I honestly forgot, but I believe it's usually 8 minutes. We also have a learning seminar, which allows students to meet with homeroom teacher, which is typically a case manager. They can do check-ins, work on homework, meet with other teachers to maybe do makeup quizzes or tests or get remediation. I like to share this piece with students and families just so you know that if you wanted to explore any of the courses offered at Woodson, you can go to our website and all of the courses are listed here for you with the description. A prerequisite is what you need to take before taking that class. As you can see here, this is English 9. The course students would need to take before English 9 is English 8. Usually a lot of times students might want to explore a fine art class or a computer class and really read more about what that class is about. Each department is also creating videos that you'll be able to view as well. As we're figuring out your schedule for your 9th grade year, it is part of the IEP team discussion that takes place. We'll talk about, what CSS services might be appropriate for students. We'll discuss if the personal development class is appropriate. Some students might need more assistance to really strengthen their reading skills, and we might look at Lit Essentials. Within our department, we currently have some of our own electives, which is wonderful. So we have a studio art class, we have an art therapist, and also a music therapist. And students can take that all 4 years if they'd like. Just to break down each subject area so that you know what's available, there's English 9, English 9 Honors, and World Civ. Social Studies, World History Honors, and World Civ. Science, usually students will take biology, but we do have some students that take environmental science as well. It'll depend on what math class students are taking. For math options, again, this is where everyone's plan can really vary. Some students might take Algebra 1 Part 1 or Algebra 1, Geometry Part 1, Geometry Honors, We have a class that we've had for a couple years now is Algebra Functions and Data Analysis. That class is a bridge really between that geometry and preparing students for Algebra 2. Please know there's even more options than what I'm showing you here, but here's some possible sequences that students might have. On the bottom, I tried to note what students might take if they take an Algebra 1 Part 1 class. So it really, year to year, this can depend on how a student is doing in class and what the teachers recommend. As a counselor, I really look for that teacher recommendation and feedback to help advise students with what they should be doing for the following year. All students will take Health and PE 9. I do want to emphasize so that students know that it is required for graduation. Students do have to participate, they have to attend, they have to dress out, and all of that's required. In 9th grade year, you'll have a quarter of health, and that's required as well. So some challenges that I've seen for students coming into 9th grade from middle school is if they're failing that 9th grade year, they're like, well, I did this in middle school. I didn't always have to participate. Well, just know that it's really going to impact your grade, and you need that credit for graduation. If a student does not pass PE 9, guess what? They get to take it again the following year or in summer school. So we really want to make sure that students just get it done and understand the expectations. Languages that are available, and again, this might be part of IEP discussion if students are interested in a language. All of these courses are in the gen ed setting, so sometimes if a student transitions from middle school to high school, they might want to wait a year or two before taking a language, but it really just depends on what your strengths are. But we have American Sign Language, French, German, Spanish, and Latin. Usually with a lot of students I work with, sometimes, like I said, they'll start off with some other electives, really get used to the high school experience, and then maybe explore a language in their sophomore or junior year. There are academy programs throughout the county, and they offer courses that we don't offer at Woodson. So, but students have to take a bus in order to get over there. So these are some of the other languages available. The academies also have a number of different programs like culinary arts, autos, a lot of computer tech classes, but typically students don't look at these options until their junior or senior year, simply because you have to have room in your schedule for that transportation piece. As you can see, there's a number of 9th grade electives available. At the beginning, I tried to point out which ones were available within our CSS program. Hopefully students can get something that they want in their schedule. Sometimes challenges that students might have is just being in a gen ed setting for some of these other classes. So we might start off at times with a CSS elective, and then if a student's ready later on in their sophomore or junior year, we'll look at some more gen ed stuff. But again, everyone's plan is very different. We definitely want you all to get involved. There's a lot of different clubs and activities. I know this isn't a typical year for us, but there are still clubs meeting and sports are taking place as well. On the Woodson website, there's links for the athletic happenings, the clubs, SGA, all of that good stuff. So definitely want you to explore and see what's out there. If you are interested in athletics, it's really important that you're aware of what's required to try out with the physical forms, the deadlines, all of that. Sometimes students might miss this and they may miss tryouts. So if you're interested, especially in a fall sport, please know that some of those teams meet during the summertime prior to the start of school. Here's a list of the clubs and activities. I believe this is most of them. There's probably even more that we don't even have on here. Where to go for more information. I think I kind of showed you that before, but on our website, you can look under athletics. Talk to your 8th grade counselor. A lot of your teachers there are familiar with some aspects of Woodson too. They might be able to help you out. Discuss with your parents as well. So we always talk at Woodson a lot about balance, and what's important for you with what your goals are and your interests are. So we want you to challenge yourself, but we also want to make sure that students aren't taking on too much as well. So we'll always talk about that balance and to make sure that your schedule and your activities are appropriate for what you want to do and what you can take on. Also, we want our freshmen to be aware of the expectations. And I'm sure you have these same expectations in middle school, but just to be aware that attendance is really, really important. I don't want to talk about the negative, but just to kind of be realistic as well. If there's a student that's having an attendance issue, we really make a lot of phone calls to try to get that student to attend. If it becomes a challenge, then we do a referral to our attendance officer to get their supports, not to ever get a student in trouble, but if there's more supports needed to get that student to attend, we need to do that. Attendance is required, so it's really important that students are attending and they're getting to class on time. Students are expected to be in class by the time the bell rings. There's plenty of time in between classes to socialize, use the restroom, all that fun stuff. So students should be in classes on time. If not, they'll be marked tardy, possible detention, all of that not so fun stuff. Usually there is going to be some homework, but I found that if students can manage their time during the day, they usually can get a lot of the work done during the school time. Like I said before, sometimes learning seminars can be used to get some of this done. Within our CSS classes, most teachers, if you're following along in class, you're attentive, you're doing what you should be doing, most of the work is done within the class. The homework piece is not much and it's very manageable. But just know that there is going to be a homework expectation. It's not huge, but just know that that is an expectation. Now, for students in more gen ed classes, there's going to be much more homework and independent work that's expected. So just know that if that's something and a goal that you have to be able and ready to take all of that on. We also expect all of our students to be respectful, to be sitting up in class, to be engaged with what the teacher is saying, and of course to use proper language, all of that. Just want to go through real quick the different diploma types. We have the standard and advanced. So with the standard diploma, it's pretty straightforward, and I'm sure you've seen this before, but you have to have 4 years of English. You now only have to have 3 years of social studies. So this is usually when a student might choose to take World History 1 or World History 2. But this can vary again based upon what your goals are for after high school. If a student is planning to apply to a 4-year college, then they may want to take 4 years of a social studies or science and math. So it's really something that is very individualized. Only 3 years of math is required. I do recommend students take 4 years if they're thinking about doing a 2-year college or 4-year college after high school. 3 years of science, economics, and personal finance is required. PE 9 and PE 10 is required. Students have to have either a fine art, CTE, or world language, and some other electives as well. With the advanced diploma, you can see that the difference here is that the history and social science 4 years is required. For math, 4 years is required. Science, 4 years is required. Economics is the same. The PE 9 and 10 is the same. Fine art or a CTE class. World language is required. You either have to have 3 years of Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, or 2 plus 2 means you could do Spanish 1, Spanish 2, and then French 1, French 2. With the sequential electives, what that means is if you do a Studio Art 1, then you do a Studio Art 2, that type of thing. But also if students are doing a CSS elective, you could do Music Sampler for 2 years, and that also counts as a sequential elective. I do like to point out to students and families, and I really hope that you all understand this, that you do not have to be on an advanced diploma plan to attend a 4-year college. Okay, so even some colleges may not require 4 years of a science or require 3 years of a language. So that's something that you're going to be researching as you go through your time at Woodson, and we can always explore that together as well to just see, what's appropriate for you with your goals. Verified credit requirements. These are the SOLs. Okay, so at the standard diploma, you have to have this has changed throughout the years, so it's the same for both diplomas, but 2 units with the English, which is the reading and writing, and that takes place in your junior year. 1 with math, science, history, and another one it is your choice, but it's just going to be whatever class is offered at the time that you're taking your SOLs. So to earn a verified credit, students have to pass the class and the SOL associated with that. And this is the fun part of my job, where I get to make sure that I'm tracking and making sure that you all get what you need. If worst case scenario, if a student fails an SOL, then we look at that as a team with your case manager and your teachers, and we see what remediation might be needed to help you be successful with the test going forward. Expunging high school credit. So if you are currently taking a high school credit in 8th grade, let's say you're taking an Algebra 1 class right now, you're getting a C, and you do not want that C on your high school transcript. You need to make sure that you're completing this form at the start of the school year so we can make sure that that is taken off of your transcript. Things to remember. Choose your courses carefully according to what your interests are, not your friends, but your interests. Get input from your teachers and your IEP team members. Discuss your course selections now with your parents and guardian. You want that balance. I know you're going to hear it a lot, but that balance between what you're doing outside of school and what you're doing within your school day. You need to commit to doing your best. Family's going to be involved. Really working on your organization piece this year. One of the things that I found is really helpful for students is to have some type of planner, whether it's electronic or a hard copy planner. You need to be able to track what to do when and kind of your day-to-day to-do list. Get involved and definitely don't procrastinate. Just remember to check out the Woodson website for current happenings of what's going on. We want you to just be aware and not miss out on any opportunities. We hope that you'll take this survey, give us feedback. We appreciate that. And here's some nights where there's going to be some BBCU sessions for question and answers. Again, I apologize for not being able to meet you all in person. I do look forward to working with you. I think if you do have any questions about your classes, your Frost teachers and team members can assist you there, and they'll contact me if there's anything else that we can assist with on our end. Best wishes with the rest of your school year. I know you're going to do great, and we look forward to working with you later on. Take care.